Hey, 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 hey! What's up, everybody? Just wanted to say hello, tune in with all of you, and share a message as always. I don't have any music today, so I'm going to kind of just get into it and enjoy today for what it is. So, as always, my name is Mitchell Heber. I am 24 years young. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm here to share my smile with the world and hopefully bring a smile to your face. So, today I want to talk about the affinitive path. So, we all have this path and direction in life, and, I'd be curious, like, where are you in life? What is your path? What's your affinitive path? And what's maybe your idea or kind of your purpose, passion, or maybe it's a person or like an idea, something that you're holding on to that you're following in life. So I'd be curious because I believe, we all have this idea or, some form of a passion or something that we're following in life. So, Aaron, thanks for the comment. Sun shining, smiling. What up, brother from another? Love it. So, again, just talking about kind of your path in life. It's hard to like come out of the gate, at such a young age and like say this is the affinitive path, right? And I've heard this actually said by Gary Vaynerchuk, which, he's an amazing dude, very successful, and he's been very inspiring to a lot of people. And I've seen some of his stuff. I don't follow him, to the extent maybe as some people, but I definitely support and respect his quality of work and what he does, and he's all about just like putting in the work, grinding for grinding's sake, basically. And that's what life's about. Life is the grind. So it's kind of interesting. And, again, I'm 24 years young. I'm actually be 25 here soon. But, it's just interesting, coming out of this gate, like, what is the affinitive path? And for each of us, it can be different. It can be an idea that we're holding on to, or maybe it's a person we're chasing, or just something in general, a destination essentially. But, I always say too, it's not about the destination, but the journey that brings happiness. And that's really what it's about. But when you're chasing after something, there's that like kind of that end result, but that's not necessarily the end. That's just like the beginning to the next new end. And it just goes on and on and on. But, when you listen to someone, like everybody has an opposing opposition, so to speak. Like everyone's got their own idea, everyone's got their own opinion. And that's really when you got to like be careful with how you respond to other people, because it's hard, like, we live in a judgmental world. So, you don't want to always just challenge someone's idea, but like listen to them because they probably know something that you don't know. And if there's something that you have a stronger belief in than this other person, just like listen to them and don't make an argument out of it. Because again, we all have our own opinions and our own beliefs. So if you can just take time and maybe like challenge the opposition, like maybe you can come to an agreement, or if not, like just listen. And if they're not going to agree or not going to listen to you, just like let it be. There's no need to start an argument because, as a whole, we are one, and it can be frustrating when you get into these arguments over, or, become bullheaded over things that really mean nothing. There's 365 different religions out there or whatever it is. And it's like, why try to argue your, belief to someone else's? Like in the end, in a religious aspect, like whatever God you believe in, we come from the same one. So it doesn't pay to like argue over something like that. But it can come down to something as simple as, a certain diet compared to like ketogenic versus veganism. Like don't challenge that opposition, but at least have like some knowledge to where they're coming from. Don't just challenge keto when you're vegan and you don't know anything about keto, or don't challenge, veganism if you know nothing about veganism and you are doing keto, essentially. So there's just all these things and opinions, and it's just better just listen and at least have some knowledge of what you're talking about before you start to challenge someone. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring across today. And again, we all have this affinitive path in life, so like it doesn't pay to really, challenge it. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. And the best part about it, I think, there's people that you hear like maybe like an overnight success, and it's like, do you really want to follow someone in those shoes, or do you want to follow someone that has at least put in the work for a year and have failed? because in a sense, you're going to learn a lot faster from their mistakes than you did from someone coming out or who has already like achieved this success or overnight success, so to speak. And that's, I think, one thing to really take into consideration too is, there's someone out there that maybe is further along in life than where you are, and when you get to like follow someone's path who has been in the shoes like of not achieving overnight success, like it's about the journey again, and people are going to be able to relate to that story a lot more than someone who does it overnight. Most people, it takes time. It takes a year or so to really move ahead. So just be aware of like who you are talking to, how they got to where they are, and understand kind of that journey. And again, we all have opinions, we all have beliefs, and take time to understand where they're coming from before you start to challenge it. And again, I would suggest like just listening, be aware and conscious, and don't start an argument. Life's too short to start an argument, and we all are loving, human beings. Like we all are one. So it doesn't make sense to me to really, get in these arguments and things like that. So in this process, because there's so much stuff out there, like everyone has their affinitive, journey, and just take time for yourself, because when it comes down to it, there is all this chitter chatter and collaboration going on where it's like, if you want to get away from it, take time for yourself. It'll help you, gain some centeredness again, peace of mind. And I think that's important as well in any journey and aspect in life. So kind of just want to share some of these things today. And, I'd be curious, like, what is your affinitive path? What is maybe a person or a thing or an idea that you're chasing after? And, understand that journey, that process, and, be aware of who you're listening to. Like, are you listening to someone who achieved the overnight success? Or are you going to listen to someone who's maybe been on the path for a year that has at least, they've discovered the things that it's been taking to actually get to where they want to go, through the failing process, because you got to fail to avoid more failure. And like, Gary Vee says, it's hard to come out of the gate and say this is the affinitive path. So I just want you to be aware of these things in a sense of, your journey and your path that you're following. So hopefully you guys got a little bit of value out of this, and, think about yourself. Where do you stand with, your, opposition or something that you're chasing after in life? And I'd be curious, if you want to, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to sit down with all of you and like get to know your ideas and, what things you might be chasing in life, because we all have something, and if we can all work together, like that's really when, a lot of things can happen, and, the whole movement can really move. And, I want to bring love, peace on earth, like for real. We're in an amazing time in life, and it's beautiful, and I'm, I bring smiles to my face just to, I'm just so curious, and I love the journey. I'm addicted to the process. So, again, feel free to reach out to me. And those of you who have jumped on today, thank you very much. I love all of you. Keep smiling. God bless, and have a beautiful, blessed day. We will see you all very soon. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.